sad end came for Denis Law on January 17th, 2025, when the Scottish football legend passed away at age 84. The king of the Stretford End, one of Manchester United's greatest goal scorers, spent his final years battling dementia, a shadow of the fiery striker who once ruled Old Trafford with his quicksilver movements and deadly finishing. Born in Aberdeen in 1940, Law grew up in stark poverty. He walked barefoot until age 12, and his first pair of football boots was a second-hand birthday gift from a neighbour. Even his body seemed against him. He had a severe squint that required surgery. When he arrived at Huddersfield Town, manager Andy Beattie dismissed him as a freak who was weak, puny and bespectacled. Not exactly the description of a future football king, but rise he did. By 1964, Law was European Footballer of the Year, winning the Ballon d'Or, a feat no other Scottish player has matched. Yet for all his brilliance, Law's career was marked by rash decisions, unfortunate timing, and a temper that constantly threatened to undermine his genius. Take his Italian adventure. In 1961, Law signed for Torino for a British record transfer fee of £110,000. The money was good, but everything else was terrible. He hated the defensive Catenaccio style that dominated Italian football. The strict man-marking and cynical defending drove him mad. Defenders kicked him, whether he had the ball or not. Off the pitch, things were just as bad. Law and teammate Joe Baker couldn't handle the relentless Italian paparazzi who followed their every move. They were constantly fined for breaking team curfews. The situation reached breaking point in February 1962 after a late-night drinking session. Baker, driving his brand-new Alfa Romeo, purchased just that morning, crashed after misjudging a turn. Law and his brother escaped with minor injuries, but Baker was critically injured, ending his Torino career. Then came the bizarre incident where Law's own manager allegedly instructed a referee to send him off during a match. His unhappiness in Italy was profound. When Torino tried to sell him to their rivals Juventus, Law simply fled home to Scotland and refused to return. He even considered playing in South Africa just to escape his Italian nightmare. Back in England with Manchester United, Law's fiery temperament continued to cause problems. Matt Busby, his legendary manager, would tell him to count to 10 when provoked on the pitch. Law later admitted, "I never got past 5. If a fellow gave me a crack, I lost my temper there and then, and I'd want to crack him back." This short fuse led to regular bookings and suspensions. The most damaging came during the 1963-64 season. In November 1963, Law was sent off for kicking out at Aston Villa's Alan Deakin. The Football Association handed him a 28-day ban. Despite this lengthy absence, Law still scored an astonishing 46 goals that season, a club record that stands today. Without the suspension, he might have reached an unprecedented 50 goals. Law believed referees had it in for him. After reporting official Gilbert Pullin to the FA for allegedly goading him during a match, Law felt he became a marked man who received staggeringly heavy punishments in subsequent years. Even in moments of triumph, Law found ways to be frustrated. During Scotland's famous 3-2 victory over world champions England at Wembley in 1967, he was reportedly furious with teammate Jim Baxter for showboating with keepy-uppies toward the end of the match. While Baxter was humiliating the English, Law thought they could have won by an even greater margin. Perhaps the cruelest blow came in 1968. Manchester United reached the European Cup final, becoming the first English club to lift the coveted trophy with a 4-1 victory over Benfica. But Law missed the final due to a knee injury that required surgery. The poignant image of Matt Busby visiting Law in his hospital bed the following day, bringing the European Cup with him, captures the bittersweet nature of this personal setback amid collective glory. The final years of Law's United career saw his powers wane as knee problems took their toll. In 1973, United manager Tommy Docherty allowed him to join local rivals Manchester City on a free transfer. Then came the darkest day. On April 27, 1974, Law scored against his beloved United with a back-heeled goal that helped confirm their relegation from the First Division. He refused to celebrate and was substituted immediately. That was his final act as a professional footballer. He announced his retirement shortly afterward. In retirement, Law maintained his connection with United, but his story was far from over. In August 2021, he publicly announced his diagnosis with mixed dementia, specifically Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia. His statement was heartbreaking in its clarity. "I am at the point where I feel I want to be open about my condition. I recognise how my brain is deteriorating and how my memory evades me when I don't want it to." Law believed that repeatedly heading the heavy leather footballs of his era had damaged his brain. "What else would it be?" he said. "That was what caused damage to the brain. When you are playing 2 games a week and heading the ball in games, then there are obvious dangers." His wife Diana later revealed the devastating reality of his condition. "Dennis doesn't remember the past things," she said in 2023. "You live for today and you don't look to the future. The disease," she explained, "took away your freedom." The man once known for his quicksilver movements was reduced to living moment to moment, his glorious past fading from his own memory. The same brain that had once processed complex game situations in split seconds was now deteriorating day by day. When Law died, his family's statement echoed his own earlier words about his dementia battle. "He fought a tough battle, but finally he is now at peace." The final chapter of his life was written not in glory, but in gradual decline. A cruel end for a man whose career had been defined by explosive energy. For all his achievements, 237 goals in 404 appearances for Manchester United, joint record goalscorer for Scotland with 30 goals, Ballon d'Or winner, 2-time league champion, FA Cup winner. Law's story carries the melody of what might have been, the temper that cut short promising seasons through suspensions, the Italian adventure that turned sour, the European Cup final missed through injury, the career that ended with the pain of relegating his beloved club. His legacy lives on in bronze statues at Old Trafford and Aberdeen Sports Village, and in the Denis Law Legacy Trust that supports disadvantaged young people in his home city. But perhaps his final contribution was in raising awareness about dementia in football and challenging the sport to confront its responsibility toward brain injuries. The journey from barefoot Aberdeen boy to the king of Old Trafford to dementia campaigner is a remarkable one, but it's impossible not to wonder how much more he might have achieved without the setbacks, many self-inflicted, along the way. Sir Alex Ferguson, who considered Law his idol, was among the football giants who paid tribute after his death. They praised not just his extraordinary talent, but also his character off the pitch, his humility despite his fame, his charisma, his generosity with time, his sense of humour. Yet, for all these tributes, there remains something profoundly sad about Denis Law's story. A glorious talent harnessed, but never fully controlled. A career of dizzying highs, punctuated by devastating lows. And a final decline that robbed him of the very memories that millions of fans will cherish forever. Amanda Copel, widow of Law's former teammate Frank Copel, who also succumbed to dementia, called for a ban on heading in football as a fitting legacy for Law. Perhaps that would be the most appropriate tribute, a change that might spare future generations from the fate that befell the king. If you knew Denis Law, or even if you didn't, let us know what you think about his story. Like the video and subscribe for more.